It's funny how the universe works, but I've been going through a period of sort of overthinking, procrastination, and just wanting a kind of holding back from making decisions and taking action on certain things that I know that I need to do, and that I also want to do. And I think there's quite a important distinction to make between stuff that we need to do and stuff that we want to do, or stuff that we want and need to do. So, I mean, for example, I yesterday spent a couple of hours fruitlessly trying to return a defective product to a store, and I didn't have the original slip with me. I couldn't access it from online shopping, and there I was doing this arbitrary thing where I could have actually spent a couple of very productive hours in the office. So I've definitely been suffering from task avoidance to a certain degree. And so you'll notice today I've dressed up again in my glad rags, and I thought the color red is so often associated with action, activity, decisiveness, leadership. And so I'm making a conscious effort, because I talk about enclothed cognition and the way that the clothes that we wear make us feel. I have taken a conscious decision today to wear something that is going to not only make me feel special, but also kind of prod me to make decisions and take action. So excuse the noise in the background. So today I'm talking about overthinking, and the topic for today's talk is stop overthinking, and procrastination, and being indecisive, not being able to make decisions. And it's so weird how, I think it was yesterday, a Harvard Business Review article popped up in my email inbox, all about overthinking, and it just really kind of resonated with me because of the what I've been going through personally. So I thought, well, maybe I'm not alone, and let me share this with you. And in fact, it does, when you think about, if you are overthinking and not making decisions and procrastinating about doing things, a lovely video to watch, and I did reference it. I may have put the link to it in the introduction to this video, but a lovely video to watch is Bob Newhart's video called Stop It. I wanted to start today's video by talking about the tremendous increase in just the coaching industry. So I work with coaches and consultants, but the tremendous increase in just the coaching industry in the number of coaches out there. And I think, I've said this before, we can lay this firmly at the door of COVID and all of the job losses and retrenchments that have happened globally. If I Googled Coach South Africa, which is where I live, the number had gone up from 27,000 to 102,000 in a year. I then Googled Executive Coach, and this was global, non-location specific. That had gone from 109,000 to 1.2 million in a year. Business Coach, 137,000 to 3 million. Life Coach, 81,000 to 1.27 million. So I have been saying for years that the coaching industry is an overcrowded and overcommoditized industry, and just this huge escalation in figures proves my point and what I was saying. I think overlaid on this is the fact that currently we are sitting with tremendous uncertainty. And I just want to take a kind of a flying look at David Rock's scarf model, where, he says that there are 5 kind of triggers. He's a neuroscientist, and there are 5 triggers that will set us off and make us feel incredibly uncomfortable. So he developed the SCARF model, where the S stands for status, the C stands for certainty, the A stands for autonomy, R stands for relatedness. So that's how related you feel to your community and group that you are in, and F stands for fairness. And I think that what we are living through at the moment triggers certainty for sure, because we are uncertain about the economy, the climate, where we are going to get business from. Certain ways that we used to rely on getting business have been shut off from us, and we're having to learn to use new tools that we're not familiar with, that we're very uncertain with using. On top of that, we're trying to live our normal lives, run our businesses, and live in very, very extraordinary times. So certainly our certainty buttons are being pushed in a big way, and that can contribute enormously to indecisiveness and overthinking, trying to make sure that we are definitely taking the right decision. But the relatedness button, I think, is also being pushed. We're not meeting up with people as often as we used to, where we could just kind of call a colleague, one of our peers, and say, let's just meet up for coffee and, discuss what we're going through in our businesses and compare notes, and what are you doing that's really working for you, and here's what I'm doing that's working for me. So the whole relatedness and the ability to connect one-on-one in person with people has also been affected. And I remember some years ago, we're all very familiar with the acronym VUCA, which I think the United States Army came up with in 1987. But I remember about 4 years ago listening to someone talking on the radio about, he used the term VUCA, so VUCUA, a different U. So VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But that second U that he put in all those years ago was unusual. And I think it really captures the spirit of the times that we are living in. The normal rules, or the rules that we have lived with all of our lives, just no longer apply. And I know even when I'm dealing with my clients and I'm taking them through my 12-week program, and they are making their own individual decisions about where and how they want to market themselves, and they look to me for advice and expertise, and I'm only able to kind of base it on information that I feel is sometimes already redundant 6 months later, and can only give my best advice based on what I'm seeing out there in the market and where people, seem to be most active. And everybody's got their own opinion. So it really is about working with my clients to find out, what they feel most comfortable doing, because they know they need to market themselves, but they've got to want to be able to market themselves at the same time. And so we need to find a platform that they want to go to. So I mentioned yesterday this Harvard Business Review article came up with, around overthinking and indecisiveness and procrastination. And even today, before I came on, it was quite weird. I received an email from one of the top top sort of international online business coaches. She's a money mindset coach, actually. And she says how I make decisions. So she says she's got three main ways of making decisions. The first is she pulls a tarot card, and if that is your way of taking guidance and making decisions, then so be it. The second one is she flips a coin, and the third one is she kind of steps away from whatever it is she needs to be making a decision about. So the HBR, the Harvard Business Review article was written by Melody Wilding, and she suggests three quite practical things when it comes to overthinking and indecisiveness. So the first thing is curb your perfectionism. And actually my words for last year were imperfect action. So making myself take imperfect action. So even if something wasn't as polished as I might want it to be, didn't have all the, elements and the moving parts that I felt it needed to have, I pushed myself to take action for this, because I needed to be in the game and taking action and kind of, setting an example for my clients and my audience. So she says perfectionism is one of the biggest blocks to swift decision making because it operates on all or nothing thinking. And to curb this, she suggests you ask questions like, what's the one thing I could do today to bring me closer to my goal? Or what's the next step that I can take based on the information that I have right now? And two really important questions. So, make a note of them, and perhaps if there is stuff that you are battling to make a decision about, ask yourself, given the information that I have at hand, what can I do to, what decision is the best decision that I can make right now to move forward? And one of the challenges that I put out, I think I can't remember whether it was on my page or in my group, was to do one economic action every single day for your business. So in other words, whether it was as something as simple as putting something out as on Facebook. So if it was writing a blog post and publishing it, or if it was putting out something on social media, doing something like this Facebook Live, contacting a previous client and, finding out, like just catching up with them and finding out where they're at and how things are going for them in these difficult times. Just kind of working your network. But whatever it was, I challenged everyone to do one economic action every single day. One action that would contribute, maybe in the short term or in the long term, economically to your business. The second thing that Melody Wilding suggests is to pay attention to your intuition. And I'll never forget a friend of mine who works somatically, so with the body. She had a mantra that she would chant, and she would say to me, the body never lies. So anyway, Melody says paying attention to your gut. Sometimes when it comes to difficult decisions, your gut reaction gives you important data and information. Excuse what is going on in the background. I'm not sure why there's all this barking going on, but it is my peanut gallery protecting me. And particularly when time is short and you don't have all the information you need, you have to take a gut reaction. And she mentions that there is research that actually shows that pairing intuition with analytical thinking helps you make make better, faster, and more accurate decisions, and gives you more confidence in your choices than relying on intellect alone. Now, I think that's quite an important point, that research now validates. I love research, and research now validates that by listening to your gut, combined with the possibly limited information that you have at hand, move forward and make a decision. And the research shows that with the combination of these two things, your decisions are better, they are faster, and more accurate than just relying on analytical thinking alone. So that's, I found that extraordinarily interesting. And then the third thing she said, and this is something that I'm now trying to adopt, is construct what she calls creative constraints. So in other words, whatever it is that you need to do, put a date or time. If you need to make a choice about something, set a date or a time by which you will make a choice and put it in your calendar. Also create accountability. So if you need to speak to other people about it, agree with those people, create accountability by including other people and telling them about when it is that you're going to make your decision, or stop your overthinking, stop your overanalyzing, and take action. So I think lovely points there. And, also the way that she talks about constructing creative constraints, I think it's just another kind of layer to actually creating smart goals. And there's even another practical thing that you can do, is just some steady, deep breathing, because when we are getting into a state about not making decisions, not moving forward, just procrastinating, kind of shifting the deck chairs on the Titanic, sitting down, doing deep breathing, re-engaging our frontal cortex, and also strengthening the corpus callosum, which is that gap between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. It puts us into a better state to be able to make really good decisions. So it's just another way of using our body constructively to make good decisions.